Hey, yo. So Eddie Hearn admits he was wrong about Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury fight. He admits he thought, the fight wasn't going to happen, and then it happened. He thought it was going to be a boring fight. A stinker is what he called it. It turned out to be a great fight. An exciting, captivating, heavyweight showdown. So, what else did Eddie Hearn have to say? E-King Fight News. We got more on this. All right. Now, one of the more interesting things Eddie Hearn was saying is that when it comes to Deontay Wilder, he wants to make the fight for April, but oddly enough, he kept saying if it doesn't happen in April, he thinks it might not ever happen. Now, why would he say that? Well, it has to do with Anthony Joshua's mandatory situation. According to Eddie Hearn, the WBO mandatory is up somehow, for some reason, even though Alexander Povetkin was pretty much ranked as the number one WBO guy. In their rankings, it didn't count as a mandatory when Anthony Joshua knocked out Alexander Povetkin, right? So AJ will have to fight another WBO mandatory, which may be Dillian Whyte. That might satisfy the WBO mandatory if he fights Dillian Whyte. Also, Kubrat Pulev is in line, but Eddie Hearn was saying that fight could end up being around 2020, right? That's what Eddie Hearn said. That could be a 2020 fight, right? So I think Eddie Hearn understands he's got some time before AJ really needs to get in the ring with, or, what I mean to say is Eddie Hearn definitely has Joshua's schedule planned out with or without Wilder. And mainly without. He understands that the Deontay Wilder situation, is very unlikely. It's very unlikely, but he did admit that he is in talks with Shelly Finkel. He's talking to Shelly Finkel. He's talking to Wilder's team, and that's all he's willing to say. He went on to say that the whole Shelly Finkel situation kind of got out of hand the first negotiation, and now he's just gonna try and keep everything between him and Team Wilder. He's not gonna leak any media information like he was doing the first time around. And that's just point blank. So Eddie Hearn seems to have once again, I don't really know if I believe this dude. It sounds on the up and up. It sounds like he sort of turned a new leaf and he really wants to make this Joshua versus Wilder fight. Oddly enough, just as Wilder's popularity is really peaking here. It's really peaked in the aftermath of this Tyson Fury fight, and going into a rematch, it could be off the chain. It could excel and exceed what Anthony Joshua is doing over in the UK. And I think that's what Eddie Hearn, I believe this is what Eddie Hearn is really concerned about. He wants to get this Wilder fight in before his numbers grow and surpass on Anthony Joshua. And hey, you can check out the interview for yourself, man. He did it with your boy Coogan Cassius over at IFL TV. Shout out to him. It's a long interview. Eddie Hearn seemed to be a bit more humbled with regards to Wilder. And the other part about it, Excuse me. The other part that's more interesting is Tyson Fury. He's a bit of a wild card. And according to Eddie Hearn, if Tyson Fury were to square off against Anthony Joshua, if Tyson Fury and Joshua were to get into the ring together in the UK, it would be the biggest UK fight of all time. That's what he had to say. It would be the biggest fight. It would have an incredible build to it. Both of these guys would have an epic promotion. Mainly Tyson Fury. Like, in terms of, promoting a fight, Joshua is not the best guy in the world at all. In fact, he's pretty terrible. He's pretty terrible when it comes to talking up a storm and creating a buzz. He kind of lets Eddie Hearn do all of that, and he sits back, does his gym work, whatever, stays disciplined, and he doesn't really sell the fight like you would see elite level, championship level fighters. But it's refreshing to see Eddie Hearn actually step back and understood. He understood. He was straight up hating on Wilder. This dude was hating like no other. Talking about ticket sales. He only sold, 8,000 tickets. And meanwhile, that was one of the better promotions for a pay-per-view in a very long time. They did a great job. Great job on the promotion. I mean, you saw what happened with Deontay Wilder and that news reporter who was really asking for a reaction from Deontay Wilder. And hey, it turned out to be one of the biggest stories in boxing at the time, and that only increased the build for the Wilder Fury fight. Now with the controversial draw, everything is built in for a rematch. So I think Eddie Hearn understands he's going to have to really, make a legitimate, crazy offer to Deontay Wilder. He's going to have to really break the bank if he wants to make that fight. Otherwise, let it be. Let it be, because Deontay Wilder, he's got unfinished business with Tyson Fury. Eddie Hearn understands this. And, as much as he wants to push for April, there's one underlying point here, and that is, why should Deontay Wilder need to head over to the UK coming off of a pay-per-view against Tyson Fury? If these two guys are about maximizing their money, if they're about, really trying to take that first fight, the Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, their first fight to the fucking limit, and smash it, they should be doing a US pay. They should be doing it in the US. No question about it. That should be a US fight. Eddie Hearn keeps saying he thinks Joshua would knock Wilder out. He thinks someone gets knocked out in that fight. So why does it matter who the judges are and all that extra shit that Barry Hearn wants to talk about? Take the fight. Take the fight in the US. And just let the fans soak it up, man. Because that's the fight they want to see. And that's all I got, man. What do you think? Does Deontay Wilder need to go over the UK to get an AJ shot? Or should AJ step up, head over to the US, and really begin the takeover? If there is to be this Anthony Joshua takeover of the heavyweight division, that's how it should go down. It should go down with him coming to the US and making a name for himself. Because right now, the only reason they know about this guy is because he's really synonymous with Deontay Wilder's name. To be honest. So it is what it is, E-King Fight News. You already know, man. And hey, check out that interview if you want to see Eddie Hearn admit he's wrong. It's on IFL TV, and we're out. Peace.